How to get essay help, how to get writing help. Hello, YouTube. This is Dr. Dave Mastek talking about reciprocity.com, the sharing economy proofreading platform that I am trying to build. The E is spelled with a 3. So I wanted to talk about how to get essay help or how to get writing help. This is kind of my own personal story or why I actually created Reciprocity. I think this is really important to get the word out so that you guys are well aware of what I'm trying to do. So this is a problem that I faced when I actually was doing my own writing. I still face this on a regular basis, is how can I actually get some feedback? How can I get some help on my own writing? So I myself have the way that I actually learned and progressed is I asked other people to get some feedback. So I thought maybe I can create some sort of system to make it much more easier for other people to get access to this particular feedback or peer feedback, I guess. Or people that are writing, so for example, people that are writers, authors, people that are writing essays, so this would be students, mostly college students I'm focused on at this point, as well as people that are writing blogs. There's so many different ways, there's different sort of areas where people are writing this long form text that need feedback or need some sort of cleaning of this particular text. And no, there's a lot of people that actually don't get access. I'm very, very privileged. So I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship at a large state institution. I'm extremely privileged to have the opportunity to have friends that are willing to listen to what I say, willing to critique me and things like that. But a lot of people don't have access to that. A lot of people are in very remote communities. I grew up in a very remote community in Northern Ontario, so I'm well aware of this in Canada, well aware of this particular issue. That if you're just in a very remote community, it's hard to get feedback in anything, and there's not really a lot of resources and how to encourage this online. There's a lot of this sort of automated proofreading things, these machines, these algorithms, I guess, that are proofreading other people's work, but those don't really work very well. There's a lot of reason behind that, but mostly it's because the English language or any language is very fluent, it's very natural, it's organic, it changes all the time. That language changes all the time. It's really hard to code all that stuff into a computer to recognize that all the time. So what you need is human eyes. You need other people to look at this. So I went out and I looked at the available stuff that's in the landscape, or I was thinking about the available sort of things that are on landscape. Most people are using these writing services, or essay writing services, college essay writing services, these sort of cheap services that that people write the paper for them. And the reason, there's two reasons why this is happening, is that it's easier access to find those particular individuals that will write it for you, write someone online. That's easy. As well as, so the price is going to decrease relatively rapidly, as well as people are struggling with their own writing, so they're turning to that, and they don't find it fun. So I wanted to create some sort of system that is going to be fun. It's going to really go after, and that's probably my main competition, are anybody that are doing sort of dissertation writing services, essay writing services, that are writing it for students, because that, as far as I'm concerned, from a professor's point, that it's fundamentally wrong to do that. But then B, if you think of the learning process, those individuals that have got somebody else to do it, they are not learning they're not learning the material, right? They're getting somebody else to learn the material, and that is very problematic. So I sought out to create a system that was legitimate, fair, that was going to help people and make it easier and fun to interact and get feedback and stuff like that. And it's going to make sure that it's going to be difficult to do any sort of this to get somebody else to write the material for you. Maybe they're going to give feedback and stuff like that. But I'm definitely building that into the system. And I'm going to build in more stopgaps and stuff like that in the future to make it more difficult to get people to just write a paper for you, because that's the last thing that I want. And so that's probably my main competition with this. The other thing is, when I started thinking about creating this particular system, I'm a terrible writer, and I didn't know, I wanted to help other people. So I didn't know necessarily how to do that with my own writing. I wouldn't be able to tell you what the difference between a noun and a verb is. Um, that's how terrible I am. But here's the thing. So I was trained as an engineer, chemical engineer. I was also trained as, I'm a professor of innovation and entrepreneurship, trained how to run a business and stuff like that. So I have these particular assets that not a lot of people have. So I thought I can create something, some sort of entrepreneurial venture that can actually do this. What's a really cool thing with chemical engineering, you learn the process of actually how to clean something. We do that repeatedly. We learn a lot of courses on how to actually clean something. That's something, your chemicals, their sort of solutions and stuff like that. However, that's not a lot different fundamentally. If you break it down to the elemental process, it's not a lot different. Writing is not a lot different than sort of chemicals and sort of at the elemental sense, a paper is essentially sort of an atomized version of a large amount of text, right? Just like what a chemical compound is. So we can learn, and we can do a lot of this different processes. There's all sorts of really cool things. And if you think that writing is a complex problem, imagine turning some oil from the ground that's messy and dirty and stinky and turning into something that's useful. That is a really, really tough problem to solve. It's much harder than you think it is. And the way that we can do that is sort of these small different steps along the way. And that's what I'm building into the system that I think is really, really cool on how to encourage that to happen. So how does reciprocity work? Well, you can interact on the system. There's two ways. Probably would encourage you just to purchase credits at the get-go. They're really cheap. Try to make it as inexpensive as possible. Maybe the prices will change in the future. I don't know, but I'm trying to make it as inexpensive as possible. You purchase those credits. Those credits, 80% of them are going to go to the editor. 20% goes to the system. That's just to maintain the system at this point. And whenever you send it out, and then it'll send out and they'll get sort of regular cues that they should be editing this work. If they don't edit that work, because it's basically on a volunteer basis, it's going to skip to somebody else, and it's going to skip to somebody else, and it's going to skip to somebody else until somebody actually does it, and then gets sent back to you. And it happens fairly quickly. You're talking probably about a week. There's a number, it'll tell you on the system how long the average is at that current moment, so you can check that out. If you want, you can also go onto the system and start earning credits. And if you earn credits, 100% of that is you. That is all you. It's going to be, the system is free at that point if you want to just earn credits. But here's the thing, earning credits, it's going to take a long time to earn those credits. At this time, because there's a lot of people on the system, so you're going to be sitting in the queue for a while until somebody actually sends a document into the system. And hopefully that's going to change in the future as more and more people get on board, and I can make some changes and stuff like that. It won't be sitting there that long. But right now, you do sit in the queue to wait for somebody to send you a document, right? So that's the thing. And then the other thing is, what was I going to say? And never mind. That's all I wanted to tell you, is that it might take some time before you actually start earning credits. Oh, that's the other thing, is that other people are rating you when you're doing that, and that's how we maintain quality in the system. If you don't maintain a certain enough quality, you won't be able to get access to additional jobs in the system, right? So this is really similar to other sharing economy type models that are out there. Eventually, if you're below sort of a credit system or a quality rating, I will start bumping you with some I'll start giving you tutorials and things like that, how to actually write better. Maybe I won't be doing them, but I'll probably find somebody else at that point if this becomes a growing thing, if this actually grows and you guys like it. Because the only way that this is going to grow is if you guys like it, then it becomes much better. It becomes part of a tool that you use, right? The other thing that's cool, so I mentioned that 20% are going to go into the system. So what I'm also going to do, if this becomes profitable, I want to actually start giving this some money to create doctoral scholarships in behavioral science. Because part of this is what I'm doing is we could do some really cool experimentation on the system. Now I'm talking about like evil experiments, the really minor that happens in the software industry all the time. All software that you use online now is using A/B testing, A/B experiments. That's all we're going to do on the system. And I'm going to hopefully work with doctoral students to help that, help to do these experiments. You'll get a notification when you log on. There might be an experiment being run at that point, and that's it. So pretty minor stuff, and don't expect anything to be all scary and dangerous and stuff. So that's all I wanted to say is I'm really trying to help out people, and I know that there are so many other people that are out there that are wanting to do this kind of stuff. I know that people are nutty like me. There really are strange people out there that would love to participate in something like this and help other people out. I know I'm not the only one. There's 7 billion people out there. I'm throwing it out there just to see if people actually start to, make the world a better place. And that's really what I'm trying to do, is trying to figure out a way to make the world a better place that, that only people that are privileged get access to something like this. No, I want to make sure that there's a lot of people that get access to something like this, because I know that lots of people can use it. And that's all I want to say. If you like these videos, make sure you do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give me a thumbs up if you like this one specifically. If you didn't like it, do one of those. If you want to help out, if you like any of the videos, just go watch the older videos. That does help that the videos start ranking a little bit higher, and it makes a big difference in terms of getting the word out there. But for those of you who like this video and you waited all the way to the end to watch it, you are so cool, and especially those of you who are subscribed. Again, you are so cool. That's it. Have a good day and take care. Bye.